was all about one man's survival in World War II at the hands of his Japanese captors, and it was during the famous death railway and the building of it, and it was through the darkest of times. Well, the man in question is Don Kennedy, and his son Fergus has written the book, and hopefully now joins us on the line. Fergus,
how are you, John?
Good. Thanks for joining us. Anyhow, the book you've taken years. This is almost the project of a lifetime. So it's taken a while for it to be realized.
Taken about 40 years, really. I've been passionate about family history for all that time, and I just thought that this was the best story in my family tree by far. And like many men of his time, my father didn't really want to talk about his experiences. So it wasn't until after he died that my mother talked a lot about what she knew. And I just continued to dig deeper and deeper. And I think it's an amazing story. And fortunately, the publishers at Gill Books agree, and we're hoping that it'll be available for a wider audience to read and enjoy.
So tell us about your dad and how he ended up being captured by the Japanese.
Yeah, that's a good story. He was actually a civil servant in Singapore, what was then part of Malaya, in 1941. And of course, he was an Irish citizen. And in May 1941, because the Japanese were becoming more and more belligerent, the British authorities decided to conscript all their civil servants. And he refused. He said he was an Irish citizen and that they couldn't conscript him. Ireland was a neutral country, and he was thrown in jail overnight for his insolence. Mm-hmm. And the next day, the Irish passport was produced, and then he was told that he was free to go, and he said, "Now I want to volunteer." So he just wanted to prove a point that he was a man of principle, and he was proud to be Irish, but he did want to fight the evil that was represented by Japan and Germany and Italy at that time. And as a result, he became a gunner in the Malayan volunteer forces, okay, facing out to sea, because they were convinced that the Japanese were going to invade on the south of Singapore. And of course, instead, they came down the Malayan Peninsula from the north. And on February 15th, 1942, 100,000 soldiers, including my father, became prisoners of war of the Japanese.
And the normal conventions for prisoners of war were very swiftly ignored by the Japanese.
Yes, that's a very good point. The Geneva Conventions, the Germans followed the Geneva Conventions quite well and treated their Allied prisoners of war very well. But the Japanese felt that it was never ratified by the Japanese parliament, so they felt that they were not bound by those conventions, and basically they treated their prisoners of war as slave laborers. And of course, the project that was the most infamous was the Burma to Thailand Railway, or what subsequently became known as the River Kwai Railway, or as you called it, the Death Railway, because so many people died while it was being constructed. Almost 100,000 people died constructing a length of railway that was about 420 kilometers or 250 miles.
Yeah, stark numbers indeed. And we're all familiar with the film The Bridge on the River Kwai, which was based on a novel, and it's a fictitious story, but nonetheless, I suppose brings it to a wider audience and gives us a hint of some of what happened in real life. And you outline it in the book, a lot of disease and starvation and brutality and intense heat.
Yes, that's right. They worked under awful conditions and were very poorly fed. Uh, Basically, it was rice and almost nothing else that they were provided 3 times a day. And of course, these were young men who were working very hard. Often they had to work 12 to 14-hour days. So they all lost weight. They all got diseases like malaria. Some got cholera, and many died as a result. My father became, um, when there was a cholera outbreak, he had to bury 21 of his colleagues on a single day. So that must have been tremendously traumatic for him.
Do you regret not that your dad never opened up to you about his experiences? Did tell your mother much of what happened, but didn't feel like sharing it with young. With
Absolutely. I would have loved to have heard more from his own lips about it and understood it a little bit better. But I think he was just a product of his time. He was a very stoic man, and I think the instructions that people were given at the end of the war was to bottle it all up inside. And indeed, some resorted to alcohol and any other way that they had.
Oh, and it seems that we've lost Fergus there again, but thankfully towards the end of our interview, and it's a remarkable story, well told in the book. The book is called Ballybunion to the River Kwai, and it's the story of one man's survival, and that man is Don Kennedy. And that was his son, Fergus, that we were listening to. Fergus went on to become a doctor, and he emigrated to Canada back in '82, but has pieced together the story from research and also from chatting to his mother. And the book is out now if you want to seek it out now on Gill Books.